Hey guys, this is Mrs. Weisenborn. This is a video to help you with rational expressions. We've been working on some stuff like this with domain and range in our factoring, and we're going to be needing these skills to help us find asymptotes in the next unit. And we're going to be using these skills pretty much throughout the whole year to help us with some other stuff, and it's also used in calculus. So these are just good basic algebra skills that you need to have. So I'm going to review some things that you've already have seen in this class and in Algebra 2. What you're going to do is you're going to watch me work through the problems. If you want to take notes, that's fine. And then you're going to try some problems on your own in the book. So make sure you have a book handy, paper, whiteboard, whatever it is that you need. You should be pausing the video often. And if you have questions, ask as you're watching the video. So if you don't understand where something comes from, you need to pause it and you need to ask, okay, if you can't figure it out on your own. So I'm going to be reviewing something that you all know and love, and that's domain of a rational expression. Rational just means fraction. Anything can be expressed as a fraction is rational. So even a whole number can be called rational because I can put it over 1. So when I'm looking at domain, I want to look at the top and the bottom. So the domain of the top is just all real numbers. Okay, there's nothing exciting happening here. It's a linear function, and I don't need to worry about it. However, you don't want to divide by 0, okay? So you can't divide by 0. So what I want to do is set this number equal to 0, and I'm going to solve for x by adding over the 1, dividing by 2. That gives me a half. And so that's the only number that doesn't work. So what I want to do is say x can't be 1/2. So I'm going to go from negative infinity, because all real numbers works, except for 1/2. So hopefully this feels a little bit more familiar now. I know this is something that you said on the Chapter 2 test that you really struggled with. Alright, so another one I have, again, the top is nothing exciting. In the denominator, I do have a little bit of an issue. I have this radical. And if you think about the square root function, it always starts, the parent function starts from 0 and goes to infinity. This guy is scooted over to the left 2 units. So again, you could just kind of set the inside part equal to 0, get x is -2. That tells me my starting point. And normally when I'm talking about a square root function, I start at that number and then I go to infinity. However, this time I don't want to use a bracket because it's on the bottom of a fraction. If I actually plug in -2, I'm going to get the square root of 0, which is 0, and I can't divide by 0. So I'm going to just start with a parenthesis, -2 to infinity. Here are a couple more. This time I put a radical on the top in the numerator. And again, I'm just going to set this equal to 0, which x is -4. That tells me my starting point. So in my numerator, my denominator is -4 to infinity. However, I don't want to divide by 0, so x can't be 1. I'm going to combine these things together because my function is starting with -4. It's going to posit 1 and then pick it back up. One last one. What I have here is something a little bit different. I can actually factor the denominator to be x plus 4, x minus 4, because it's a difference of squares. And so there are actually 2 numbers that x can't be. So x can't be -4 and x can't be 4. In the numerator, I don't have anything interesting. It's just a linear function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from -infinity to -4, -4 to 4, and then 4 to infinity. So what I'm doing is I'm saying x can't be -4 and x can't be 4. Everything else is okay. If I plug in anything in between, if I plug in -1000, I'm good. If I plug in +150, I'm good. If I plug in 0, that's in between here, I'm good. The only numbers that don't work are these 2. So what I want you to do now is pause the video and try on your own 5 through 12 on page 41. Those are all domain problems. When you're ready, play the video to see more material. Okay, so this is going to review Martinsville method because you need really strong factoring skills. It's something that you worked a lot on in Algebra 2. As you may have noticed, we've been using it a lot in pre-calc as well, and the fun don't stop, because in calculus, you gotta know how to factor, baby. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the 2 and multiply it to the 1. I'm gonna factor just like I always do. I'm gonna think, what can I multiply to get 2? What can I add to get 3? Go back and divide each piece by the 2. If it reduces, great. If it doesn't, slap that denominator up front. And so I just factored using Martinsville. If you need more practice with that, let me know or look up some more videos on it. Another skill that you're going to need is knowing how to factor using difference of squares and sum of difference of cubes. So when you see something like this, x squared minus, if you notice that this number is a nice number that you can take the square root of, then what you want to do is say x plus the square root, x minus the square root. You can't factor something with a positive. That's going to be an imaginary number. Now, if you have a cube, okay, if you notice that this number, you can take the cube root of it, okay? So 1, 27, 64, any of those kind of numbers that you can take the cube root of. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a small set of parentheses and then a big set. And so I'm going to do same, opposite, always positive. The cube root of x, the cube root of 27. This number comes from squaring the first number. This number comes from squaring the last number, and what's in between is when you multiply it together. Okay? And if this can be factored further, great. If not, it's not a big deal. So we're going to use those skills to simplify some rational functions, because this is huge when we get into finding asymptotes, and you're going to find out lots of great application with asymptotes. So for right now, we just need to practice these algebra skills. And so we've got to be factor masters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor the numerator and the denominator. Now on the bottom, I like this because it's the difference of squares. On the top, it's just a plain old trinomial. I'm going to think, what can I multiply to get -2, and what can I add to get -1? If you see anything that's exactly the same, cancel it out. And I just simplified. This would be my answer, x minus 2 over x minus 1. Okay? I'm working quickly, so make sure you pause the video as you need to. This next one's kind of interesting because the top part, it's a little flipped around. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip it right back the way I'm used to seeing it. So negative x squared plus 1. And then what I can do is I can factor out a negative. And then I get really excited because, again, it's a difference of squares just like the last one. So the top is going to be negative x plus 1, x minus 1. My denominator is a difference of cubes, which I like to say SOAP. So I'm going to do small set, big set, same, opposite, always positive, x1, square it, multiply it together. Now if you see anything that's exactly the same, cancel it out. If you can factor this further, great, but as you may have noticed, we've been doing some problems like this, and this actually does not factor. So we're just going to leave it like this. And that's all you have to do when you're simplifying. Okay? And you'll see why later on that's so important. But right now, practice those skills. So what I want you to do is try 15 and 21 on page 42. If you don't think you have the hang of it, then assign yourself more problems, okay? And check your answers there in the back of the book. When you're ready, go ahead and play it to see more material. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about multiplying and dividing. Guess what? You still need to factor. Okay, so I'm going to factor the numerator and the denominator, and I'm just going to leave this right side alone. When you're multiplying, all you have to do is go straight across, but before you do that, we're just going to cancel. So we're going to have ourselves a little canceling frenzy here. Anything that's exactly the same in the numerator and the denominator, you can cancel. Okay, it doesn't matter where, as long as you have something in the top that's the same as the bottom. And then I'm left with this for my final answer. Pretty simple. I always like canceling stuff out. It makes it look a lot better. Alright, so here's another one. Only this time I'm dividing. And you guys already know this. When you're dividing fractions, you flip and multiply. Okay? So I'm going to factor this guy. And I'm going to flip around these. Okay? I'm going to do two things at once here. Because mathematicians are a little lazy. And I don't have to write any more than I have to. So I'm going to flip these around. But I also don't like seeing it written like this. I don't like 3 plus x. Just weird. Kind of creeps me out. So I'm going to do x plus 3, and I'm going to switch this to negative x plus 3. You'll thank me later for that. And then factor over here. If you know how to factor, go ahead and pause and just try it on your own. Okay, so when you multiply, oh, I made a mistake. So, and you think, what can I multiply to get negative 3? That would be negative 3 and then positive 1. Okay, so make sure that when you're multiplying these, it gives you that. And when you're adding, it gives you the middle term. And now we're good. So the only other thing that I can do is this right here. I don't like seeing negatives out front. I always want to factor those out. So I'm going to factor out the negative. Now I have this piece canceling with this piece, and this canceling with this. Now the negative didn't cancel out, so on the top I'm going to have negative, and then this guy, and on the bottom, x plus 1. Alright, so try 25 and 35 on page 42. It's going to be multiplying and dividing. Again, assign yourself more problems if you need to, and play when you're ready to see more. Okay, now we're going to do adding and subtracting. When you're adding and subtracting fractions, you need a least common denominator. Okay, so what I'm going to do, 1 is super easy to work with. I'm going to turn this into 1 over 1, and my least common denominator is going to be the only other piece here that's in this denominator. So all I have to do is multiply the top and bottom by x plus 4. Now be careful, because with subtraction, you want to distribute that negative. And I can put this all over the same denominator. Combine like terms on the top, and you're done. Okay, one more. This one's a little different because I actually do have a denominator in each piece. All I have to do is smack them together. Okay? And that means this side needs x plus 6, and this side needed x minus 4. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute. That gives me x squared plus 6x. Distribute the negative 3 to both pieces. Negative 3x plus 12. Combine like terms. X squared plus 3x plus 12 all over this. Now, if you can factor this more, do it. So let's think about that for a second. Can I think of anything that multiplies to give me 12 and adds to give me 3? Nope, not with 2 positives. So you're done. This is your answer. However, if you can factor that, go ahead and do it, because something else might cancel, and that's always fun. Okay, we've got one more adding and subtracting one for you. And this time, I've got 3 pieces, not a big deal. I've got an a squared and a b squared. So I'm going to make my least common denominator a squared, b squared. This side needs a b squared. This needs an a and a b, and this needs an a squared. So I'm just going to multiply that to the top as well. 2b squared, 3ab. If you can combine like terms, do it, but I don't see any, so we're done. Okay, go ahead and try 39, 43, and 55. These two are on this page, and this one's on that page. Check your answers and let me know if you need help. I do have one final topic to go over, and that is rationalizing the denominator. We've kind of been talking about this with our eyes. Okay? Now, I'm running out of time because I can only record for 15 minutes for free, so it's going to be some turbo math. Here we go. I'm going to multiply this by 1 plus radical 3 on the top and the bottom, and then I'm just going to distribute and FOIL. So 4 plus 4 radical 3. If I FOIL on the top, on the bottom, I'm going to get 1. The outer and the inners cancel, and then so negative radical 3 times radical 3 gives me negative 3. So 4 plus 4 radical 3 all over negative 2. You can divide everything by negative 2, and so you're done. Now, if you only have one piece like this, all you have to do is multiply it by radical 3. Whoa. Okay, and then I can leave it like that. So that's super quick, so pause it, ask questions if you got them. Try 81 on page 43, and that's all I have for you. That's going to help you out a lot with the next section.